Hey everyone, welcome back to another mindset lesson for the membership program here at mastering.com. Today we're diving into a principle that we consider crucial in your journey as an engineer or producer. It's the idea of focusing less on the what and more on the why behind everything you do in production, mixing, and mastering. Over the years, I've noticed a natural tendency amongst some students. During my teaching demonstrations, I've often noticed some students getting distracted by what exactly I'm doing instead of seeking to understand why I'm doing it. I'll be deep in a demo applying a compressor to a track, for example, and someone might be very concerned with the exact numbers I set the knobs to or a certain preset or technique. The focus on these exact settings often seems to ultimately be an example of someone who believes that if they get things a certain way or know some formula, they're going to make great sounding music. This is flawed. Think about it like this, a little cooking analogy for you. Knowing what is like knowing the ingredients in a recipe, but understanding why is like knowing how each ingredient interacts with the others, how it affects the final dish, and why it's there in the first place. This deeper understanding is what separates good cooks from great chefs, and it's the same in audio engineering. When I'm producing, mixing, or mastering, I'm constantly considering multiple moving parts and objectives with so many of the moves I'm making. So, for example, the parameters I'm using to treat a snare, hypothetically in a song, could totally change in the next song, even if it was the exact same snare, based on other factors. What good, then, are the numbers or presets you wrote down? And by the way, this is why YouTube learning can be so ineffective. I remember so many times learning a technique from YouTube in my early years as an engineer and excitedly applying it to my song in my DAW, only to find that it didn't really work the same way. It always baffled me. I did the same move, but it didn't give me the same result. It's because I only understood the what and lacked the foundational why to utilize the technique in my situation. When you understand why you're using a specific tool or technique, you gain the ability to adapt and make informed decisions. You're not just following a formula. You're shaping the sound with intention and creativity. This mindset leads to more impactful and professional results. When you really understand the why, it informs the rest of the process. You inevitably know what to do and when to do it. When you focus on the why, it forces you to develop a critical ear and a problem-solving mindset. You start to identify issues and think about the best ways to address them, rather than relying on presets or endlessly turning knobs. This approach leads to more consistent and professional outcomes, and it speeds up your workflow as you become more confident and decisive. Understanding the why also teaches you that it's not about having the fanciest gear or the most plugins. It's about understanding the core principles that guide your choices. Mastery comes from knowing why you do what you do, and that's why we emphasize it here on mastering.com. So as you continue your journey with us, I encourage you to dig deeper. Ask yourself why every step of the way. Why am I using this EQ setting? Why is this compressor needed here? Why does this mix element need adjustment? Why am I applying this specific character to this sound in production? Be consistently questioning and seeking to understand the why. By consistently questioning and seeking to understand the why, you'll develop a stronger, more intuitive grasp on your craft. Of course, with all that said, certainly there are some actions you'll do, even repetitively in production, mixing, and mastering. It's okay to do the same things, as long as you know why you're doing it, and generally seek to understand the nuance of each situation. Trust this principle, stay curious, and keep pushing yourself towards understanding. The more you focus on the why, the more you'll find yourself growing as an engineer and producer. All right, that's all for this short lesson. Keep mastering the basics, stay motivated, and I'll see you on the next one.